So I'm here at the Restaurant Takeaway and Delivery Expo. I am in Theater 6, which is the delivered branded theater. I'm hosting two sessions this week. One is on maintaining catering relationship, and the other is on navigating takeaway partnerships. Really super excited to be here at this conference. It's super cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on some sustainability things that I found as I was walking around earlier today before they set up the conference, and I'm gonna share those with you. The UK is really big into sustainability, so I really wanna highlight that in my takeaways from the Delivery and Takeaway Expo. Let's go. So walking around the Restaurant Takeaway and Delivery Expo, I came across EVC. One thing I've noticed is London's commitment to sustainability and eco-friendly practices, and you can see that in all the EVs and hybrids they have on the road. But with that comes challenges of where to charge the cars. So one thing that is starting to become more popular, and you see it in the States as well, is setting up EV charging as destination chargers. So at a restaurant, at a hotel, these EV customers are gonna look for those conveniences. So it could be an additional way to drive traffic through your door, literally traffic, because the car will come there to plug into one of these boxes. You can offer it for free as an incentive, or you can charge them per kilowatt hour. So you could actually turn parking spaces into additional revenue stream for your restaurant. Let's go see what else we can find here. Continuing on our sustainability crawl here at the London Takeaway and Delivery Expo, we all know how a carbon footprint centric delivered is. We offset our carbon emissions on every delivery with our partner with Ecology. So I'm here now with Matt from My Emissions, and he's gonna tell us a little bit about what they do and why it's important to restaurants and consumers.
Thanks so much, Chris. So we at My Emissions help restaurants to measure the emissions of their individual products or dishes. So a little known fact is that at least 30% or at least 26% of all greenhouse gas emissions comes from the food sector. So it's an incredibly powerful opportunity to reduce our impact on the planet by changing the food that we're using, changing how it's delivered, changing how it's packaged, and everything across the food sector. So what we're trying to do with restaurants is make that data available so they can get that across to consumers through our really engaging carbon label. We're doing trials with partners like Just Eat and lots of other kind of both restaurants and also with general food companies, retail brands and manufacturers as well. And what that really allows companies to do is be transparent, to build a sustainability story with their foods, which they can use to their customers, can use to investors and other stakeholders as well. Show what they're doing for the planet and really use that to stand out. And obviously from our side, what we're hoping is that restaurants can not only in some cases be more profitable, either making more money, and sometimes the more sustainable options are options that have a better margin or have a better kind of lower cost for restaurants, which are great win-wins to find. But also for us trying to see how much we can reduce that impact of foods.
That's great. One of the things I learned from your colleague, I was talking like an avocado from Mexico versus a tomato from here, like in the UK. And you would think the avocado would have a higher carbon footprint because of its travel, but that's not necessarily the case, right? Like just because something's coming from far, transportation isn't the highest part of the carbon footprint.
So in terms of the farming emissions and versus the distribution or transport across, say, the UK, because of how efficient something like shipping is, it's actually very low, relatively low carbon to get that. Even like apples from New Zealand is another really good example that people use. Tomatoes are an interesting example because the climate here in the UK for most of the year isn't geared up towards the tomatoes, it's too cold. So they're often grown in a heated greenhouse, and the energy required to heat that greenhouse almost offsets or increases the emissions sometimes more than these ingredients that are transported from far away.
And then do you see like the grade card, which is really simple, like a traffic light, green good, red bad, right? Like red stop. Do you see that like guiding consumer behavior? Do you see someone clicking on an item and being like, "Whoa, this carbon rating is bad," and like abandoning that item and moving to one that is more carbon friendly?
Definitely. I mean, we've seen lots of trends in that light. The first thing I'd say is we actually see that within restaurants as well. So if you're a chef or a marketing team or recipe development team, these labels are just as much for them going, okay, this meal's good, this meal's bad. And in the same way that when calorie counts were introduced, restaurants significantly reduced the calories of their menus, we're seeing the same trends, but definitely also at the consumer level as well. So probably one of our bigger examples is the University of Massachusetts, which has rolled this out across their entire catering department.
Oh, wow.
It's seen about a 6% reduction in emissions per diner. So really, they serve about 8 million meals a year. So the impact of that is pretty monumental. We're seeing some really positive trends, and we're seeing early signs with Just Eat that there's a similar trend or some similar insights there.
That's great. I appreciate all the knowledge, Matt. I didn't even know something like this existed. So if someone wants to find out more or potentially partner with My Emissions, how do they find you or your company?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're quite active on LinkedIn. My name's Matthew Isaac, so you can probably find me in there. And then our website is myemissions.green. And yeah, you can reach out directly with us on there. And there's easy ways to contact us, book in a call, and we'd love to speak to you.
Perfect. I appreciate the time again, Matt. Check out My Emissions. Look them up on LinkedIn. Drop them friend request. I think this is some really cool stuff. All right, on to the next. You might think I'm in a forest, but I'm still here at the London Takeaway and Delivery Expo. I'm checking out reed straw. They're from Estonia. That's where they're made. Everybody hates paper straws, right? Like, I can't say it enough. You could probably be losing customers because of paper straws. So what they did is really cool. They make their straws out of reed. They're kind of like bamboo, but more readily available, and they're pretty strong, and they seem like they would hold up a lot better. So just another example of things that you can find that are different than the norm, right? Imagine getting rid of your paper straws and getting an alternative like this. This would be great. Check them out. So that's a wrap for us here at the London Takeaway and Delivery Expo. I had a great time showing you some of those eco-friendly finds, the presentations in the Deliver branded theater, and talking to operators from all over the world. We also gave away some of our Deliver branded socks. Look forward to the next video where I get to show you all the other cool things that I find where I land next.